start by talking about. Welcome to another edition of Night of the Shield, right here on the Las Vegas Raiders News Review, sponsored by Independently Blind Studios. I'm Jason Smith, your host, aka The Knight. What's up to Robert Pena and Dark? Welcome, my brothers. We're going to get into some stuff tonight, man. Right before I went live, I just got back from the gym. I had something to eat. Trying to get some prep done. I did the worst thing I could have done is I went through my YouTube feed. The narrative just won't go away. And I promise you, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it directly. But we do have to review it, if you will. So once again, salute to everybody that's either here now or will be showing up later and watching this later. I appreciate you all. Chandler Jones, some people just have to find something to make content about, man. I personally don't get it. I really don't. It's easy to pick a narrative and run with it. A lot of people are already hitting the nail on the head when they're saying that negativity rules our country, and everybody gets it. Most people out there, trust me, guys, we're not all insane. We are all not looking for the negative. In fact, we're hoping the best for the whole situation. And that seems to be the narrative that I keep seeing personally around YouTube or social media. Even the reporters are being hush-hush, right? And even if Chandler Jones does not play another snap for the Las Vegas Raiders, I thought they handled it beautifully today. We're going to get into that in just a second. The truth will come out. Like, at some point, we got to let it go. Okay? There's not enough information just because certain people have a certain point of view and another person has. Nobody knows the real reason. He's been missing a long time. Supposedly injured. We don't really know whether he was injured or whether there were signs. The phone calls to the. Like, let's stop. Can we just stop? That's where I'm going to leave it right now. Anyway, it's going to come back up, but I want to get on with the other part of the show first because it deals with more factual, at least a person speaking on the matter anyway. Let me try to get to this here. Hold on here. So there's a report out there, and I'm not verifying it, but I trust you guys in the chat. That's in saying that the paramedics were called to Chandler Jones's place. Trey Adapity, welcome. All right, brother. Hey, I'm gonna let you know ahead of time. Tomorrow and Friday I'm going to be going hard. One day will be offense, the next day will be defense. We'll be breaking down this game. But you're more welcome here to stay tonight. We will be talking about some parts and points of the matchup, but I'll be going deep on this matchup the next 2 days, brother. But thank you for being here. Terrence, what's up, dude? Raider Nation for life. It's been a minute. What's going on? All right. Let's go ahead. This is how we're going to do it tonight. So there's a few press conferences today. This is where we get most of our information, at least the information that they want to be released. And I thought, and I'll explain it because there's this whole crazy narrative out here about Josh too. So we're gonna do it Night of the Shield style. We're gonna be more realistic about what's happening here. And let's go ahead and pull up the press conference. Let me find. There we go. That's the board I'm looking for. All right, we're going to go ahead and start off with Josh McDaniels' presser because that's the first one that was released, and it ties into all. I'm not going on another rant. I'm just going to base it off exactly what we're getting from Josh at this moment. Thank you, Thesson, for the update. If the paramedics are sent to his house, I mean, the evidence keeps stacking itself up. We'll find out as this goes along what's really happening, all right? So here we go. Let's go ahead and play Josh McDaniels' presser.
Opening day. This is my 23rd time, and I'd say they're all different. There's a lot of unknown.
Yes, he's breathing heavy.
You can't necessarily prepare for everything that you're certainly going to see relative to how they're going to utilize their personnel or the exact schemes you're going to see. Yeah. But our guys are hard at work at preparing for the players that we know we're going to see. And some of the things that we're pretty sure we're going to get. So, there's that little bit of feeling in your stomach like you're going to have to find out how it goes early in the game on Sunday. And there almost always is adjustments that happen during the course of this day so that, you can adapt to how the game is being played. But Sean does a great job. I've coached against him a number of times. His teams are always well prepared. We know there's going to be some changes based on what we saw last year from this team. There's always
interesting.
There's obviously changes in the personnel, but there's going to be changes schematically, coaches obviously.
Yep.
Big challenge, always playing up there. Obviously, a big rivalry game for us. So our guys are excited to get out there on the practice field here and start working on them.
All right, so before we get started, just in case I always forget this anyway, if you're here, welcome. Hit that like button for me. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be updated every time we go live or drop another episode. Now, right off the cut, right, because I know this was brought up in a few different places that I've heard it, saying that, oh, listen, he's already breathing hard. He's already nerves are flaring. He does it because he's out. And I'm like, look, I do a lot of public speaking. In fact, I have a public speaking event this Saturday up at Shaver Lake, California, where I got to go back up to the Central California Adaptive Sports Camp and address a whole bunch of people I've never met before. I do YouTube. I've gotten a lot better at being able to speak in public, but every single time I go out there to speak anywhere, there's always that sense of unknown. And when you're getting ready to take the podium and you have to go out there and you know you're facing a firing squad. This is not him just being able to come out and talk about the football team. This man knows. He's standing up there. He's got all this stuff he wants to say. He wants to talk about the first week of the season, our first matchup against the Denver Broncos, and he knows he's facing the firing squad. He knows that he's going to have to stand his ground and at some point be stern. And remember that I say that he has to stand his ground and be stern because I think he does an excellent job, and we're going to get into why I think that. Let's go ahead and continue.
Obviously, there was a situation with Chandler Jones yesterday. Mm-hmm. Has there been any resolution to that, or is he still with the team? Or
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that's kind of a personal situation, and
yep.
We've never really gone into those kind of things, so I'm going to steer away from that. It's a private matter, and if there's something to report on it, then we'll do that. But as of right now, no.
As of right now, okay.
There's nothing to talk about. No, I don't. Right now we're going day to day. He's not going to be here today, so we'll kind of take it.
The nerves are wearing off.
Are you concerned about the effect on the locker room? He was one of the leaders on the team last year.
Look, the team's getting ready to play a game. We deal with different things throughout the course of the year, whether it's injuries or other adversities. So, I think the guys are focused on trying to control the things that they can control and get ready to play the best game we can play on Sunday.
Pretty much any coaching staff is going to have instances where players may be upset for whatever reason. How have you guys learned to handle those instances and maybe try to work to avoid?
Are you referring to this as a
specifically the Chandler, but like players in general, when you have maybe these sorts of.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a
you know,
tool.
look, there's a lot of things that go on every week. You know, every week in a football organization, you just try to do the best you can to get your team ready to play, and we all have different roles to play, and there's decisions that are made, and you try to do the best thing for the team. That's it. I mean, I don't know
Straight up.
anything else that would be better than that. Try to make the right decisions in every way, shape, or form you can.
He's
to help
answering
your
the
team be
questions.
Successful. So
He
that's
knows what
we've
they're
tried to do
saying.
since we've been here, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Did it warrant some sort of a talk with the team to kind of
Yeah, I'm not going to get into this.
They're
You know what
keep pressing.
So it's a personal situation.
doing their
it's a
job.
Private matter. Want to talk about the game on Sunday? I'll be excited to talk about the game.
Affects the game though, John. One of your captains and your leaders.
Yeah, he's not a captain. So
I like that, and I want, because this was made a big deal, right? Like, oh, he had to go out of his way and say he's not a captain now, and this was his boy, and he brought him in. Hey, listen, Vic Tafur is the one. I think he's the first one that said, "Hey, Josh, he was a leader last year." He said it correctly, and Josh didn't correct him. He was like, "Yeah, basically, he's answering the questions. He's playing along. He knows they have a job to do. I know they have a job to do. If I was there, I'd be trying to get some answers too, and I'm going to keep pressing." And I'll even give the guy credit in this last question because it does affect the game. It does. No matter how we don't know how it's going to affect the game. This might turn out to be a positive thing for Kuntz and Tyree Wilson, but we don't know that yet. But yes, it will affect the game. And then when he, who has not done his homework and says, well, he's a captain. And trust me, I'm going to stop it here in a second, so I'll leave it at that. He has, so yeah, he corrected him because guess what? He's not a captain. And I'm going to stop it here in a second because he says something else that puts him in his place.
It is what it is. Like I said, we're dealing with it internally. We've dealt with it, but we're not gonna get into this.
Kudos.
the unknowns of a season opener? That's going to be the case typically from year to year, but in this case, with the new coaching staff, what do you go back to look at? Do you go all the way back to New Orleans to?
Okay, so it comes later, so I'm going to go ahead and say it, and I'll let it pass as it goes. But later on, the same dude asked, well, who's your captains then? So this was released last week. Like we all know, I got a whole freaking hour video talking about the captains and how I thought it was really well done by the team. The team selects the captains, not the coaches, for anybody that gets that confused, right? It's the team that picks the captains. So the whole narrative that, Josh is out to get another player is ridiculous. And I saw some of the comments. I haven't got a chance. Again, I work in 8 to 5, but some people are saying, how come this always seems to be the Raiders that have all this drama? Have you seen what has been happening in the offseason with the Washington Commanders? Has anybody been following along? Where's Chris Jones? Where's Bosa? Like, we're not the only team. Again, I reiterated this last night, and I'll say it again just in case people are not watching the video long enough to hear me say it. We're the Raiders. We respond. We react. We give them attention. We cause clicks. We send people to their websites. We send people to their YouTube channels. This is what we do. But if you notice, I'm not name dropping, even though some of you probably already know where a lot of this information comes from.
See what was going on there. Is it worth doing that? Or
There's a lot that you can. That's one of the things about this day that's this is so different, because you could utilize a lot of tape to prepare, and there's probably a point where you're overdoing it, going back so far.
I like that answer.
Now you're chasing ghosts, and at some point you got to cut that off. But yeah, I mean, look, Sean's had a long history in this league of success everywhere he's been, and obviously in New Orleans. So he's a great coach. His teams are always well prepared. They play physical and tough. They're disciplined. They've taken care of the ball. They don't beat themselves. They're really good in situational football. So, that's what I'm expecting. So I think the biggest thing for us, regardless of how far back we've gone, is, what are we going to do? And how comfortable are we with what we're going to do in each phase of the game? And so our focus will remain there, this week. And like I said, you go in with a certain plan and an idea of what you want to do to try to play the game. And usually there's some version of an adjustment that you're going to make based on how it's going and what you're seeing on the other side.
On the back end of that, based off of what you've seen Peyton as a coach, what are some things, when you're game planning against Russell?
Rich Leon, what's up, brother, in the chat? thank you all for being here. Thanks for looking up some facts. I mean, we don't know if the paramedics were there or not. Look, at the end of the day, in Trey Adapity, it's going to be a great game. Stay tuned, man. We will be talking. He's talking about Sean Payton. I want to really get in heavy on Sean Payton, but I'm going to do that in the next couple of days. But I really like the way Josh is handling himself here. He's really, again, it's going to sound as if I'm a Josh McDaniels fanboy. And I promise you, I'm not. The verdict is still out. But if you you cannot stop. Let me gather myself because I'm already fired up tonight, right? I want to make it clear. It's obvious that this man has been in the league for 23 years. He's been around. He's seen a lot. He's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And a lot of that bad and ugly, yeah, he admits that he caused himself. So he knows what it takes to cause a problem. This guy handles himself at the podium. You hear him talk. He's intelligent. He gets it. He's not dumb. He's not dumb Daniels, okay? So keep spinning the narrative because you're mad at something else, but I promise you, this guy, at least from an offensive perspective, mind you, he knows the whole game. But from an offensive perspective, he's a very smart individual. So let's give the guy some time, okay? He started his story, his new book last year. The first chapter sucked, okay? It wasn't good, but at the end of the chapter, he talks about, hey, I have to look in the mirror. It starts with me. I'm going to tell the staff, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the whole story, right? And every move that both him and Dave, because everybody seems to keep bringing up Josh's name and leaving Dave's out of it. You think Josh is making all the calls by himself? This is not Gruden and Mayock. Come on. There's discussions being had and decisions being made as a team, organization, morals, discipline. Walk the straight line or get out. They're handling their business.
What do you think are some adjustments
Just wanted to say that.
have to make going up against him in this kind of offense?
Well, we'll see about the adjustment part based on how they're going and what they're doing. But Sean's utilizes his personnel extremely well. Moves his players around, uses a lot of different personnel groupings, challenges you with formations, motions, tempo. They snap the ball pretty quickly offensively. You got to be set and ready to go, know what your assignments are. And like I said, generally speaking, his teams execute very well. And so that's what I'm anticipating. I know how good Russell Wilson is. He's had an incredible career. And I'm expecting the absolute, best version of every one of their guys on their team. So it'll be a big challenge, and like I said, we're excited to get ready for it.
Where's I guess Tyree in his development, and if Chandler's situation dictates, I guess him taking on a much more expanded role, is that something he's ready for and you guys are comfortable with?
We're working, obviously every day is a good day for Tyree. He's kind of worked through this whole spring and summer on schedule with what we've been asking him to do. This week will be another week we'll push forward. So I think he's done a tremendous job of trying to follow the plan. He'll be ready to go. Is it going to be – nobody's going to play 70 plays on Sunday. So that would be unrealistic for us to go into the first game of the season and think that we don't need to use the active list to try to make sure that we're okay in the second half in terms of our conditioning. So
I love it when they just talk football.
Prepared
You
hard,
notice how he's calmed down? He's not breathing heavy.
None of us have played a game for 60 minutes. So, he'll be out there. And like I said, we'll have a plan for that. How much that will end up being, we'll see.
And I just want to comment, whether or not Coots gets a lot of playing time, Wilson, there was only 4 of them, right? There was only Kuntz, there was Wilson, Jones, and Crosby. So they're going to have to make a decision. We'll probably know a lot more by Friday, Saturday at the latest. They're going to probably have to activate Rochelle off the practice squad, worst case scenario. I really liked what he did, too, in the preseason. I felt like there was better out there still, but I think he would serve a good purpose. Rochelle also played outside and inside. And remember, too, we got Tillery on this team who's played some defensive end at times, too. And, he's got some speed to him, so they could put him on the edge to give some of these guys a breather. So there's definitely backups that we have. And, again, once they started talking football, Josh's level came down. He stood his ground. He didn't break. It's not like he came out here too and just shut him down and was a jerk about it. He really listened to what they had to say. He explained himself over and over again, and finally he was just like, "We're moving on. We're moving on."
Had a lot of newcomers step up in preseason. What do you see on defense? What do you see as the carryover to the regular season for those guys?
Thank you, Faculty Raider. I'm doing good.
We've the entire training camp, we've had competition at every spot. I feel like we have some depth, on defense where we're going to
Arkham, what's up, brother?
Play multiple people in there. They've really acclimated well to one another. Look, defense is all about knowing what to do, being connected with all 11 players, playing physical, running to the football, trying to get the guy on the ground. So, and take the ball away if you can. So we, I think we.
Thank you, Terrence. I won't be at the home opener, bud, but have a great time.
We feel comfortable with our guys. I know feel good about what we're going to try to do here. And like I said, there's probably going to be some adjustments we're going to need to make.
No matter who played, did you like schematically what you saw defensively in the preseason? I mean, did you like what you saw?
Yeah, again, it was fairly simple, like most teams are in the preseason. We just wanted to kind of see our guys out there competing and playing fundamentally. But I thought we made some progress. There's certainly some areas where we made some progress. Certainly some areas where we identified that we need to shore up and improve too. So, this will be an exciting opportunity for us to go out there and kind of, see where we're at right now.
I love that answer. This is going to be a great opportunity to go out there and see where we're at right now. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, not only for us who talk about it daily and endlessly, but for them as well as a staff. Yeah, they had a couple of joint practices. It's not the same as a game time evaluation. Yeah, there were some preseason games. Once again, not a whole lot shown. Not a lot. You're not putting all your starters in there. So this week one is not only a test for the Las Vegas Raiders, it's a test for the Denver Broncos. And, as we get into it in these next 2 days, we'll start to unravel how great of a matchup this is actually going to be, because it's strength versus strength and weakness versus weakness. So we'll get into that in the next couple of days. But I really like the way that Josh, once again, is paying attention to the details. He gets it. He understands it. And he's letting us know it without giving up any information.
It's week one. It's not week 13. So, there's going to be some things we're going to learn about our team that we're going to need to address and improve upon. That happens every year. So
we got $10 million to do it if need be, right, Josh?
Go on Sunday. That's the goal. And we'll play hard and play fast and be aggressive. And like I said, if there's something we need to change, we'll try to change it.
Make sure beyond just wins or losses, how do you measure success throughout the course of the season? And are there any goals or benchmarks beyond obviously winning as many games as possible that you have for this particular group this year?
Now, I believe this is a cookie cutter answer, but it's to be expected. But I want to pause it and give you guys the opportunity to hit that like button. If you're here, please go ahead and hit that like button. Let's continue to move up the algorithm.
We're going to prepare as hard as we can every week to win. That's it, and we're not looking at, the overall season in totality. We're going to prepare to win each game, and that's unreasonable to think that anybody's going to do that, but that's going to be our goal one week at a time. Prepare as hard as we can for the opponent to give ourselves the best chance to perform well. And I think our team understands that goal. We're hard at work at it. I think our guys are preparing the right way for this week, and we'll see how we do.
It's only been a week and some change. What are some differences that you've noticed with Josh Jacobs being back in the locker room?
Now we're getting into some good stuff. Let's have a conversation here in a minute.
How has it been, responded to so far by his teammates?
Incredible. The response has been great. Voted him a captain. He's in condition, working hard to
ready to go,
acclimate to some of the things that maybe have changed since he was here last. But fits in great with his teammates. Does a great job of practicing the right way. Brings a great mentality.
I don't know if anybody caught that, but in the background, somebody walked by. Could have been a player. I don't know who it was, but said something to Josh. He chuckled a little bit. It caught his attention, and then he started talking again, meaning people are being playful with him, supporting him. He's not this evil head coach that everybody wants to put the narrative on, man. It cracks me up.
To everything that he does, from the meetings to the walkthroughs to the field. So, I've said this 1,000 times. He's a great player. He's a great person. He's a really, really good leader. And he cares deeply about the game of football and works extremely hard at being the best version of himself that he can be. So I'm very excited that he's back.
Oh, but wait, Josh, how could you be so excited that he's back if you were one of the reasons why he didn't want to be on this football team? Because you didn't respect him and you ran him into the ground. And if you want him to be the hero, Josh, then it's you, McDaniels, that has to pay him. Oh, wait, Josh, McDaniels doesn't do contracts? What do you mean? He doesn't set the price? What do you mean? That's up to Dave Ziegler and Champ Bailey and the accounting department? Wait. So why is it Josh's fault? And then JJ's back and he's super stoked and he's a great vibe in the locker room and everything's going great. And Josh McDaniels, and you could tell if you watch it that he was just overly bursting out with excitement that JJ's back. But yeah, they don't like each other. And Josh McDaniels is a problem, and he's the reason why Josh almost wasn't on this football team. And just in case anybody didn't catch that, I'm being sarcastic.
You obviously know Jimmy pretty well. I think there's a chip on his shoulder because the way things ended in the 49ers, or that wasn't the way he's kind of wired?
I don't really, I haven't really got into that conversation with him at all. I think Jimmy's a competitive person by nature, wants to do his best, prepare hard, work as hard as he possibly can to be the best version of himself that he can be for our team. I don't really know how much he hangs on to things that have happened in the past and all the rest of it. I think he had a really successful tenure there in San Francisco. I know he has a great deal of respect for them and what he's learned, and I think he's excited to lead our football team.
Yeah, Josh, you mentioned.
Jimmy G, I mean, I'm not even going to comment much on this because we've beaten this dead horse too. Look, Jimmy G's ready for this. Is Jimmy G ready to be healthy is the only question mark that I have on Jimmy G right now. That's it. Can he stay healthy, and if so, for how long? Other than that, I just can't wait for him to put this all out there, and we'll cover that when we talk about the offense in the next 2 days.
Chandler's not a captain, but I think you just said that Josh was. Who are the other captains?
Yeah, on offense, Jimmy.
This is where he asks
Colton,
about who's the other
JJ
captains.
and
It's
Devontae.
like, you don't know that?
Defensively, Max.
How could you not know
Spillane,
that?
Marcus Epps, and in the kicking game, both of our kickers, AJ Cole and Daniel Carlson. So.
And he was excited to say it when he mentioned every one of those players. And the funny thing is he waited this whole time. He could have Googled it while he was sitting there waiting. He probably has a cell phone. It's ridiculous. I'm telling you, these guys, I don't get it.
It's a really good group. I mean, the team obviously selects those guys, but it's a high honor when your teammates select you to represent them in a number of ways. And although those guys are very deserving of the honor, and I'm excited for them to lead our team, on Sunday and beyond.
And the other thing I wanted to add, too, is because there was a narrative that was set out there again today, basically that, well, Chandler was your dude, and you brought him in here, you paid him all this money, you wanted him to be a leader. There's talks about how he is a leader, and I'm sure that he feels the same way. There's a reason why he wants to keep this in-house. There's a reason why he's not talking openly about it right now. There's a reason why he wants to protect the guy that he paid a lot of money here to, who's having, it's obvious to me, and again, this is not factual what I'm about to say, so this is not a factual report, it's a speculation, that something happened with Chandler. There's something in his life, whether it's relationship-wise with his kids, the women in his life, whatever. I don't even know the guy's full backstory. It sounds like he's got a couple baby mamas. It happens. He's got family that struggle with things. There could be a slew of things that is going on with Chandler Jones, and instead of bashing McDaniels or bashing Jones, I'm kicking back, praying for my Raiders, my Raiders, right, and your Raiders. Like, we want them to be okay. We want them to have the best opportunity to be successful. I'm not here to bash no one. Let's keep it in-house. What we need to know, we'll know when we need to know. And right now, there's no need to start piling. If Chandler Jones comes out and says too much at this point, which obviously he had to erase some stuff, right? He put out God is good. And so obviously he's coming back down, or he's seeing it in a different way. He's trying to get traded. Maybe he did get traded. Maybe his wish came true. Or he's just saying, you know what, these guys are protecting me because they could just be letting all my business out right now before I can get it under control. So either way, kudos to this organization for holding their own.
Good to go? Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll take a break so I don't kill you with all the audio. I do have Devontae Adams' presser loaded up. I also have Jimmy G's. I'm not Jimmy G's. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it was cool. I mean, it was just cookie cutter to me. A lot of things I've heard before. Excited to get the season going and stuff like that. But Devontae has some good stuff, so I definitely like to listen to the Devontae stuff. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy too much into all this BS that's being spread around. I don't care if there's any type of media personality that's out there saying something, ignore that too. It's all for views. It's just the world we live in, guys. It's the whole gotta create the content, right? And in order to create content, it's based off drama. That's all it is. Greg Atkins, what's up, my brother? Long time no hear from. Chan has no kids. I thought Chan has no kids. I thought he was saying they were contacting my BM, his baby mama. I thought he does have kids. I thought Chan said that himself in some of his things. I may be wrong, but that's what I heard, is that he's spent all this money to make them safe and secure. He called them the BM, the baby mama. Kenny, what's going on, bro? Salute to Pena, but salute to you anyway, Kenny. Welcome back, Kenny from Washington. All right, so just moving forward with this whole thing, this game tomorrow, it sounds like they're focused. They know that this is going to be the measuring stick to figure out exactly where they're at. All the work that they've put in the offseason, whether it be within free agency, and it's Spillane and Epps and Marcus Peters, it's going to be a chance for them to prove their worth as why they were brought in here. It's for Jimmy G to go out, really run the Mcdaniels offense and what it stands for. And like I said, the next couple of days, we're going to take one day to break down the offense versus the defense, and then vice versa. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be pretty good. I got some good nuggets that I want to share and give a different perspective on. So without further ado, man, let's go ahead and move on. Let's keep this thing rolling. Let's go ahead and listen to Devontae. I probably won't do the Jimmy G portion just because I don't think there's too much there. But let's go ahead and break down some of the stuff that Devontae says. And there's some key things that no one's mentioned that I want to bring up that he says or does not say.
Does this ever get old? Season openers, do you still get the butterflies at all?
Real quick, Greg, thanks for looking it up, man. I'm gonna have to investigate that myself too, because I could have sworn he said baby mama. So there might be something else he's talking about. Maybe it's something to do with his brother or something. I don't know.
Or you kind of past all that?
No, I mean, you still get that feeling. It's a little different when you're a little bit more familiar with it. It turns from nerves to just excitement. So definitely still get it, but it kind of fades as far as, the anxiety of the whole deal. But definitely ready to get to work.
How excited are you then, Devontae, just to see what this looks like with the new personnel around you, especially at quarterback?
Yeah, man, real excited. I mean, we've been working hard at it for a minute now. Been together since OTAs, and been grinding to get it going in the right direction. So, it'll be fun to see once we get some stuff on tape what it looks like. That way we can make corrections and keep improving.
And sometimes honesty is not negativity. Honesty is not negativity, meaning if, the reports of, well, he's unhappy, this, that, and the third, I don't believe so. I honestly don't believe so. I believe that if you're being honest because you're dealing with the unknown, you're going to have some mixed feelings of whether or not this is going to work out. But as you can hear him now, he knows that there's still stuff they got to work on. They can't wait to put some stuff on tape. They've been working hard, and he truly, genuinely sounds excited for this season and playing with Jimmy G.
Devontae, any adjustments you've had to make to your game in the offseason with a new quarterback and Jimmy, or same old?
No, same thing. Just getting adjusted to a new person throwing it. But as far as my game, no.
Are there still little matchup things that excite you? I mean, the Broncos have a lot of hype on their corners. Like, is that the kind of thing that you get excited about?
Nah. Not. I don't. Honestly, I don't care who I play against. I go out there. I don't discriminate. I treat everybody the same way when we go out there, and and that's not like disrespectful thing, but it's just I'm more concerned about what we're doing as a football team and what I'm doing personally over what the defense has to offer.
Devontae, now that you're going into year 2 with this coaching staff, how do you feel like they've done in terms of kind of connecting with players and forming relationships, not just through a football
Key.
but just knowing who you are as humans?
Good. We got some personal coaches, definitely some guys that are interested in learning about the person, which is a vital piece of connecting and doing well as a team, is understanding people that you're working with. So we got some guys that preach communication and just openness and, kind of not going into anything with any surprises, but like I said, open communication, and I appreciate that from them.
Here's something that I want to say about what he just said that nobody's talked about, okay? They've touched upon the fact that he did a really good job of shedding the light that there's positivity and personal connections with this coaching staff and their players, because there's a lot of people talking about McDaniels, right? But you notice that he didn't necessarily specifically say one coach or the other. Like the way that he stated it was broad. He said we have personal coaches. That could be taken as maybe some or none, right? Or it could be taken at all the coaches. Or we have personal coaches, meaning personal coaches, all of them, all of the above. They all care. And I thought it was very key that he specifically didn't bring up Josh McDaniels, because that would be opening up the door for them to start peppering more conversations about, well, what do you think about this, that, or the other? He just broadly stated it, backed off a little bit, and just let everybody else say their piece. Miguel, what's up, buddy, man? Welcome to the show, dude. Yeah, Chandler, I don't know. Chandler Jones has a historic career. Chandler Jones did not get the sacks last year, but he really set the edge really well. He did produce on this football team. He's probably going through something, so I'm not going to bash him, but I respect the fact that you think that the way that you do, and I'll definitely make note of it. So he says Chandler Jones is a crybaby. He's just upset, basically. Remember, guys, I'm legally blind, so I'm paraphrasing here. I'm trying to read it off the screen. That he's just jealous because he pretty much lost it, and Jones sucks. So, I mean, Miguel, that's cool, man. I mean, it's I love the fact that you're willing to come on here and say that, because you're not blaming anybody per se. You're just kind of stating your feelings. You're not trying to make this all about one person or, the conspiracy theory that this regime is tearing down the Raiders or anything like that. So I respect that, dude. Thank you for being here, Miguel. It's been a minute. What did Chandler, Steven wants to know what Chandler posts. All Chandler posts that I saw was God is good, which is just a general statement. That could mean anything, right? It's pretty funny. These guys know how to work the media. They know how to keep the attention moving, because sometimes negative publicity is positive publicity. And sometimes it's just, maybe you shouldn't say anything. But God is good could mean he got what he wanted out of it, or it's just a way that he's okay. It's a way for him to say, I'm okay. Raider John's in the house. What's up, my brother? I love the way that you called out the target on the Raiders in the last video, because literally it's every... I'm sorry, man. I'm actually trying to read this. I probably should have just let my voiceover do it. Yeah, I probably should have done it. Raiders in the last video, because they're literally there very... All right, John, I'm sorry. Let me have my voiceover just read it for me. Okay, yeah. So Raider John's talking about how I called that there's a target on the Raiders, and that Skip Bayless, and look, and Skip Bayless is the creator of that, of a lot of that, right? He's really the tool behind First Take and what it stood for, and he got Shannon Sharp involved, and he a spinoff show that does the same exact thing, and it's just like John, it's that way, bro, because we'll react. And if we react and we send people to them, hey, check out what he said, we share the YouTube video, we share all these things, they get the clicks. That's why I like downloading the audio. And let's face it, I'm not a visual person per se, so I'd rather do that. Rolling Dubs, what is up? What's up, brother? Big Tone 209. He's from the 209, Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto area. What's up, brother? We don't know what Jones. Let me get back to my voiceover. These long ones. Well said, Big Tone 209. We do not know what Jones is going through, so we should send out prayers because I think I'm trying to remember who said it today. When I'm at work, I just play all these videos in the background and I listen to it as I'm working. But they were saying, like, we stopped humanizing some of these guys. We think that their money, their fame, their athleticism puts them on this pedestal that they're not allowed to make mistakes. Dude, these guys ain't walking on water. They're humans just like us. They have a past. They have demons. They have things that eat them up. And I'll be the first one to tell you, mine is my sight loss. It freaking messes with me every single day. I have to battle something every single day. I have to figure out something, troubleshoot something. And there was a point in my life, in fact, it's what this channel was birthed from, was me just hitting rock bottom. I had enough. And Raider John will tell you, I'm going to have him on. So I may save that story for when he's on so you could hear it from his voice instead of mine. But there was a lot that I was going through, and I carried it, and I still have to carry it every day. And if I don't make a mental note of it every time I find myself in a situation where, it's bothering me, I'm going to have a really, really bad day. Doesn't mean I'm not hooked on drugs and I don't do any of that stuff, but that doesn't mean that I'm not maybe a bit more grumpy or could be treat my wife a little better or whatever the case may be, right? And if I'm not careful, I could go crack open a couple of beers and just say, screw it, right? And who knows how that's going to make me feel the next day or what it's going to make me do in that moment. So Big Tone, shout out to you. He does need prayers. He has things in his past that haunt him. We all do. Just because he's an all-pro defensive end with 112 sacks and all this money doesn't mean that we should not care for somebody that's going through something. Let's see. Miguel says Raiders can cut Jones for contract detrimental to the team. But again, I think that is true, but there has to be some type of documentation stating so. So drug use and the way that he was bad-mouthing the team. I'm sure that's one of the things the Raiders are probably doing at this moment, if I had to guess, right? They're checking with their lawyers. They're checking in with the union. They're checking in with the NFL, trying to figure out maybe possibly what their options are. Did he cross the line? Has this been going on? Is there enough documentation to be like this guy is a threat to himself and the team or blah, blah, blah? Because at the end of the day, too, and I could tell by just the way that Josh was saying it's personal, we're handling it. He cares for this guy. This is someone he obviously cared about, right? So on one hand, you're saying you brought him in and paid him all this money, but then, let's give the guy his just due. Let's do, a proper investigation, make the right choices, and help the man. Robert Torres, what's up, bro? New to the channel. Well, welcome, my brother. New to the channel. I'm really impressed. Let's see. On clear and straightforward news. All right, let me see. You wrote a lot. I appreciate it, man. I'm legally blind, so let me just have my voiceover read it. Awesome, Robert. Thank you, man. Thank you for letting me know that I'm doing a decent job. I'm just really here. I'm a passionate fan, just like everybody else. I have a voice. I want to use it. So thank you, brother. Welcome to Night of the Shield. All right. Ray Gonzalez. I don't think the truth will ever come out about what the drama is with CJ. You know what? I kind of hope not, because we live in a world that I wish we could just let people have their victories and their downfalls and be able to keep it just private and personal to themselves. But you know the world we live in. I think somebody will eventually break. It'll eventually be leaked what happened. It always seems to at some, they'll keep it under wraps as long as they can, so they don't blow it out of proportion. We're doing that for them as it is by just speculating and talking our trash, if that's what you want to call it. Some are talking trash, and they're out there just bashing the organization, bashing the player with no real hardcore facts. Once we might not get all the details, but we'll know pretty much whether or not it was an internal issue or an external issue. Let's put it that way. Awesome. Mike Noonan says the same thing. Prayers to Chandler. He's been a Raider. We want the best for him, dude. Much love. Absolutely, I agree. Roland Dubs, you're right. It's going to stay in house until it's not, right? Once they determine, hey, they might be doing him a solid. Nothing gets leaked. Hopefully, nothing gets investigated too deep, and they could get him the help he needs if that's what it is, and he can get back on the field. Otherwise, they'll do what they need to do that's best for the team. They've already proven that. Money is not going to stop them from hurting this football team or their chances to win. That's just the way they view it. Or their future, because a lot of people think that is just the present, right? They don't understand that they think future-wise too. Like, if this is going to hurt us in the future, we'd rather pay the money and lose the money now and keep this thing moving forward. We'll find a way to rebound. All right, let me get back to what Devontae's saying here.
It's vocal when you have something in terms of feedback to give, whether it's football related or something else. Have you seen some of the feedback that you've given being acted upon by the coaching staff?
I mean, countless times. Last year throughout games, we talk. I come back. They. I mean, it's not even something that they want to listen to. They say, hey, we need to hear that from you. Anything you feel out there, obviously, there's a scale as far as how much they trust certain people coming in with certain things. If you're a rookie, you can't walk in here saying, hey, coach, I need to run this on that guy or whatever. We don't need to be in man on defense. Like, do this. It comes with the reps and the respect of understanding, obviously knowing that the guy knows what he's talking about. So it's a two-way street, and I try not to come in with too much stuff. That way it's felt. The person that's talking all the time, nobody really wants to hear him the same way. So I try to be selective about the times I bring things to them, but they do a good job of applying it. When it's time.
I love the way Devontae answered that question. I love the way that Devontae put it out there, right? And this goes all the way back to last year and the situations that were coming out about certain things that were going on in the offensive room, the quarterback room, or however you want to spin the narrative, because that's what some people like to do, is spin the narrative, especially when it comes to that whole situation last year. But Devontae's basically telling you, they're very open to hearing what you have to say. They're actually encouraging it. They want to know what you see, what's going on, and they'll make sure whatever it is that you say, that they implement it to their principles. No head coach, first-year head coach, is going to uproot the one thing that he knows that he does and does best, and that he's done. And it doesn't matter if it was done by the best who ever played the game, and it was Tom Brady, and it was Bill Belichick, and it was the Patriots. It was something that was ran successfully. He took a rookie quarterback into the playoffs, right? He held his own with Cam. This is his first real opportunity to develop something, and he's working with Aiden O'Connell now. He's got Jimmy G, someone that would at least follow the principles of his offense, and that was one of the issues. It wasn't that he wasn't listening to what people had to say. It just had to fit the principle of the system. That's how Josh made his money. That's how Josh got this job, and that's how Josh is going to keep this job. And we'll talk about that because it's very, very key of how Josh keeps his job here and how he's not on the hot seat. There's only one way Josh will be on the hot seat, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the offense.
One of the leaders of this team, a captain, second year. There was a situation that occurred yesterday with Chandler. How do you make sure that doesn't affect anybody in that locker room heading into game one?
Everybody's got to focus on what we got to focus on, and the only thing that's important this week is this game. So just got to lock in on that.
Devontae, this offseason you've spoken publicly about talking to Josh and kind of being there through him. How much of a difference have you noticed with him being back in the locker room just over a week?
I mean, I've noticed it in, my mood, other guys' moods. Just having a key piece of your football team around, it's going to naturally boost everybody's mood. Their willingness to come to work. Everybody's been coming to work, and it's been the same as it was last year, but it's a little bit more fire when you get one of your guys back, and when you get a guy like Josh back who's a captain and, a leader of this football team. It kind of, like I said, gives the team a little extra juice.
There's some young guys on this offense, Trey Tucker, Michael Mayer. You take them under your wing a little bit, especially in a week like this.
I liked how he handled the Chandler Jones situation, just kind of said what he had to say and moved forward. Miguel, I want to say happy birthday to Jasmine. Happy birthday, Jasmine, and congratulations, dude, on your baby that was born on Monday, if I'm reading that correctly. Shout out to you, Miguel. Shout out to Jasmine. Happy birthday to you. Big Raider fan from her uncle. Awesome, bro.
To kind of settle those nerves so that they're ready to perform the way they need to.
No, they're on their own. I was on my own. They're on their own. No.
But do you feel like they're kind of wired the right?
Of course. I mean, these guys, these are easy guys to work with. Trey's one of my favorite rookies I've ever had. Obviously, he's a crazy talent out there. Got speed and a lot of things that are tough to coach. But just him as a person makes it easy, coming to work with him. And, he's the type of guy, he told me about a month ago, he came up and said, I'm going to ask you at least one question every single day and learn something from you, whether it's football, something about life, whatever. I'm going to make sure I ask you something every day. And he's been on it. It's been a couple of days where he hasn't. So, but I watched it like the first 4 days. He came up to me with something every day. So, working with guys like that, and obviously I haven't been working directly with Michael the same, and he's a quiet guy as well, but you can tell, I'll be having a conversation with Hoop about something, and he'll kind of creep over there and start listening a little bit. So these guys are willing to learn and fun to work with, so it makes it easy.
Devontae's the coolest cat in the room, man. Not going to lie. Just the way that he just, he could be serious, switch it up to a quick joke, get back right to serious. Look, Devontae's been around for a while now. He's a high-end talent. Talent recognizes talent. He recognized the fact that Tucker has something special. It may take some time for him to fine-tune that special, and that's okay. But we should be excited that we got a guy like Tucker on this team. Rolling the dubs, dude, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. I know you've been a part of this channel for a very long time. You're one of those guys that have been waiting for me to come back and have always stuck around, so I appreciate you more, man, for hanging in there with me through all the tough times. Thank you. %, Ray. Nobody knows the facts. Hold on, let me see. 100%, Ray. I believe it is a mental thing, and we don't necessarily know, we'll know if it's a mental thing. It'll be released at some point that there was some type of issue, whatever, and it's not something that he hasn't had in his past or his family has dealt with, and I'll make sure that I will always keep it 100, and I'm not going to bash the dude at all. Even if it comes out that it was all his fault, and it doesn't matter to me, man. If it's mental, then I'm just going to pray for him and continue to wish him the best, dude, because he's still a human man. It says, so Miguel was saying the Raiders do not have to pay him if they cut him for contract detrimental. Yeah, and that's a business move, right? And it's a risk that we all take, because I promise you, if I had the same thing happen at my job, they're probably going to let me go, and then I'll have to go get help, but they'll have to let me go. And they don't have to pay me. So that is true, and a lot of these things are built into contracts, but I also believe that, it's something that if they could help him, I think they'll help him too. All right, Rolling Dubs, take it easy, my brother. We'll see you around. Yeah, Josh McDaniels is going to keep his job on principles, Robert Torres. Like, it's factual that, he has to keep his offense. This is what they brought him here for, right? They didn't bring him here because he has great head coaching background, because we already knew that he didn't make it in Denver. He walked out on Indy before it even got started. So they didn't bring him here. And again, the story sounds like they really wanted Dave, but then Mark was like, Josh, yeah, and it's like, he is the guy they brought here to get this offense going. He just needs to find the right D coordinator. Like I said, we're going to get into that here in the next couple of days as we break down heading into this first week of the season and what it truly means for this whole organization. I misread that, man. It's the voiceover. Well, happy birthday to you, my brother, and giving your shout out to her. You know, happy birthday, my brother. Mine's coming up here on the 18th. It's Pittsburgh is the one. It's my game. That's what I call it. Every year I look to see what game I call my birthday game, and it's going to be the Steeler one. I think is what lines up to be my birthday one. So that ought to be fun. All right, let's see what here. Okay, let's finish up with Devontae.
What kind of questions did he ask from Trey?
I mean, all different types of things. That type of stuff we'll keep between me and Trey, but it can be something about a route, something about life. You know, how do I deal with, coming in, balancing a new playbook and adding your own sauce to routes and different things. It's been a million different times we've talked about stuff, and you know, he's a quiet kid, but you know, one-on-one in those type of situations, that's where you see him start to kind of, I don't know what the word is, but just, you know, not unfold, but you know what I mean, like open up a little bit. I guess that's the word. Open up and get a little bit more comfortable and talk and continue to learn with us.
Have you noticed like a progression in his questions of like, oh, he's starting to get it, maybe the Bronco way?
I mean, he's asked amazing questions out the gate, so it's really just a wide range. It's not always a question that I'll get that's like, wow, amazing question, but it'll be, you know, sometimes it is, and it's just like a real question. You know, it's, like I said, it's a pretty wide range.
Couple more. You mentioned that he had crazy talent. You know, as you get further along in your career, can you start sensing that and seeing that from younger players, like they got a little something special?
I mean, you can see it at any point, no matter where you're at in your development. It's easy to see when a guy gets it and very mature. Obviously, there's hundreds of things to work on. I mean, I got a whole lot to work on still. So
humble.
Things you can build on, but the type of questions that he asks, the detail that he has, the way he studies and the way he goes about it. Not a big talker, you know. He's like an old school rookie, the way you want him. So,
nice.
Like I said, when they're that way, it makes everything a lot more smooth and easier in the room.
Another year.
Along those lines, I
Last
talked with
question.
Nate Hobbs, and he said that you make him a better quarterback. That you taught him patience and route running and whatnot. Do you take pride in that as well, like even helping out defensive players to try to help them?
I love this question and I love this answer.
Sure. I take just as much pride in helping Nate as I do any of the other receivers. I mean, we all one unit. You know, we doing this in camp the whole time, but at the end of the day, we all trying to, you know, I want him to be able to cover the things that, he's going to see on every Sunday. So when we have opportunity, and obviously I'm going to have more creativity to certain things, and I assure him sometime if I come back, you know, with a win on the route, like, you're not going to see anybody to run it that way. So, you know, you'll be good, you know, covering it the cookie cutter way. I want to make sure I give you a little extra something to see. That way, you know, on Sundays it's easier. And he's the same way as Trey and those other young guys, where he's always asking questions and, you know, locked in if I'm talking to somebody else, trying to figure out what it is that he can do to make himself better too. So, you know, if everybody's on that, we'll be a good team.
So that was Devontae Adams, and I thought he answered that well. Number one thing I want to take away from this, there's still a lot of positivity in that locker room. One player, whatever's going on, they're more worried about him than it being negative. Number one, that's the message I wanted to send out tonight again. And I'm sure that this is not going to end. We'll have to keep bringing this up again, that this is a well coached football team from the perspective of holding people accountable and not pushing the narrative too hard. And the other thing that I would like to talk about, what Devontae said, especially about Nate Hobbs, right? It takes a certain kind of player to have the confidence to teach a corner and go into that much depth, right? Like, hey, I might have to face you someday, but good luck stopping me. Well, I'm going to show you this is what you need to try to do, but I'm always going to come up with something different. But he's helping both sides of the ball. There's a reason why this guy's a captain, bro. There's just a reason why this guy's a captain, and I'm glad we got Devontae Adams. Appreciate you, bro. 17. This is shout out to Mike Noonan. 17 is a class act. 100%, dude. Like, Devontae is the real deal, bro. He's the one person I haven't got to meet. I was hoping to meet him around Fresno at some point, and if I stay on top of things, maybe I can run into him or meet him at some point. So Miguel says we should cut we should cut Jones and trade for Burns. I'm not 100% against that. I just don't know if the Raiders are going to pull that trigger just yet. I think they'll wait to see what they got. I mean, we just spent a first-round pick on Tyree Wilson. Let's give him his opportunity. Kuntz looked really good in preseason. I mean, if they decide to do it, I'm not going to be all mad about it. I'll tell you that, right? Like, Jones was already 33 years old. I mean, he was on the back end, but he was going to be, and this is where it hurts, right? And this is where my prayers will go out for Chandler Jones, because if it's something mental and it's something that is really, holding him back, I mean, I want him to be safe and healthy. But he was going to be a key factor, the same way that Jimmy G is going to be there and Brian Hoyer's there for guys like Aiden O'Connell, and they're all there for each other. Chandler Jones there was a lot of comparables between him and Tyree Wilson, and he had a lot to teach and show Tyree. And whatever happened, he's going through, I just wish him the best. But if this is the end, then this is the end. And if we could work out the right deal to get a guy like Burns, and we could afford it and make it happen, because that's the thing. We're not trying to get under salary cap hell anymore. We're trying to get out of salary cap, and so we'll see what happens. It's been an hour. I don't know if I'm going to play the Jimmy G stuff, because I think it's pretty cookie cutter. And there was nothing in there that stood out so much to me that I feel like this was going to be something I needed to cover. Hey. Hey, Miguel, it's okay, man. Jasmine's your daughter. She may be a little annoying, but you love her anyway. Hey, that's your baby? Dude, I have 4 kids in the home. Well, technically I have 5 kids in the house. One is 20, but she's fully special needs. We have to feed her through a G tube. She doesn't walk. She doesn't talk. She's our precious baby angel forever. But I have 3 teenagers in the house, 3 high schoolers in the house right now. Enjoy it while you can, my brother, because it doesn't get any better. It's already, because I'm telling you, there's a reason why I have no hair. And 2 of them are girls, and my oldest, he's my stepson, but he's autistic. So that's a whole nother element. You guys, by me meeting him, I'm still trying to prep him to help me produce the show, read the comments. I have a phone system I want to use eventually. I really need visual help with that. I could probably figure out a way to do it without, but I mean, I already struggle. I've been trying to read the message on the screen tonight. There's a lot of messages. It's better just to, maybe the combination of me looking at it and having the voiceover reading, I think it's a better flow tonight than it has been. It's a continued work in progress, but I appreciate everybody being here. That's going to be our coverage for tonight. Miguel is chiming in. Of course, it's all love. Miguel, it's all love, man. Thank you for being here. I wanted to cover the pressers. I like digging a little deeper in there, breaking them down, getting a better understanding of what possibly the message that you're trying to get out. When it came to Josh McDaniels, I felt like it really was him keeping it in-house. I really sensed a lot of love that he has for Chandler Jones, and I don't think it's anything that he personally did or the organization did. I really believed him, and the nervousness, you could tell that he knew he was going to be under the firing squad. He wanted to protect this guy. He wants to protect his team. I'm sure he didn't want this to start off his season, but much respect once again to Josh McDaniels. Look, he's got to go out there and put up W's. He's still got a big job to do, and he's got a lot to prove to me. But between him and Dave Ziegler and Champ Bailey, I always say Champ Kelly, but Champ Bailey, look, these guys are doing their due diligence. I respect what they're attempting to bring to this organization, and the biggest word I could say that they're trying to do right now, they're bringing accountability to every aspect of the football game, and you cannot take that lightly, especially for everything that we've been dealing with at all. Right on, Robert, man. Hey, you got 4. I got 3. 2 grandbabies. I only got the 2, so you got me beat there, man. You got 5 kids and 14 grandbabies. Prayers out to you, my brother. All right? Hey, we're going to have to go fund me for Christmas time for Robert Pena and buying gifts for his grandkids. Holy cow, bro. That's awesome. Robert Torres, you have a good night too, brother. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for everybody for being here, man. Again, I love doing this. I miss this. I'm going to be doing more of it. We have a great week coming up. Let me see what I got going on here. I'm trying to get this done right. I'll figure all this out eventually. We got a great week coming. We're going to finish off the last of the week. These last 2 days, we're going to be talking Raiders offense. We're going to be talking Raiders defense. We're also going to be having my boy Raider John on. I'm going to let him pick which one he wants. And if I know Raider John, he's going to want to talk some offense because he's an offensive-minded cat. So look forward to that. It'll be Raider John in the night talking either offense or defense. And Dark, salute, brother. Right back at you, man. And at Arkham, salute. Dark, salute. Chuck. Woo. It's jumping on me. Chuck. Yeah, it's Chuck. There he goes. Go Raiders, brother. Robert Pena, much love to you. Miguel, thank you. Happy birthday once again. Shout out to your baby Jasmine. Who else was in here? Roland Dubs was in the house. I know he's left, but I'm going to shout him out. He's a longtime follower. Let's see who else was here. Robert Torres. Shout out to you, my brother. There's Roland Dubs. Miguel Majado, I already said what's up to you, my brother. You have a great night. Ray Gonzalez, shout out to you, my brother. And there's Roland Dubs again. All right, man. Robert Pena. I know Dark was up in the house. Terrence was up in the house. I appreciate you guys all, man. I'm going to go ahead and head out and call it a night. We will be back tomorrow night, roughly around 8 or 8:30. I'll post it up around 5, 6 o'clock about what time we'll be kicking off. But I'll see you guys then. Until next time. Hey, before you go, hit that like button, that subscribe button, the notification bell. Let's do this. Let's keep this thing moving. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And until then, stay Raider strong. Night out.